do this shit? All right. So we're gonna start. This is the only, our bus and the one behind us are the only ones that are gonna do this first location. That is in North Hills. We're gonna go to the hospital from Halloween 2. And if we can see it before we get kicked out, we'll see Smith's Grove from Rob Zombie's Halloween. So.
Dan it, doo-doo loves movies, dan it, doo-doo loves movies.
What's up, dudes and dudettes? My name's Cody, and I'm just a dude who loves movies. And today I want to talk to you about my weekend experience at Halloween 45 Years of Terror. So the convention was Saturday and Sunday, but on Friday I had tickets to go to the Horse Hallowed Ground tour, and I had VIP superfan tickets for the first bus, which was the tour guide was Sean Clark, and he was an excellent tour guide. Of course, he had all kinds of cool information. He showed us all kinds of cool places, and the thing about it wasn't just like Halloween locations, which that was the main focus, was Halloween locations. We got to go see places like the Pretty in Pink house, the Nightmare on Elm Street home, of course the Myers home, all kinds of different places from Halloween, and my favorite was the home from Liar Liar. It was instantly noticeable when I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, like I just got this really cool feeling when I saw it. I thought it was really cool. And we also got to go see the Terminator, the diner from the first Terminator where Sarah Connor works. And another cool place that I really like to see was the movie theater from Scream 2. I thought that was really badass. It was a really cool tour. There was a lot of walking. There was a lot of walking, and it wasn't in the description, which I don't mind that there was a lot of walking, but I seriously found out that I was out of shape when I did this. But if I could do it, most of you guys can do it. It was really cool experience. But Sean did say before we started, that that they changed their coordinates, and they told him 2 weeks before that the buses couldn't go down these neighborhoods and this and that because of certain laws now. So we had to do a lot of walking, but it was kind of cool because we got to spend more time at these locations instead of just driving up to it with a bus and getting out. But I know that it was a lot of a lot of walking for a lot of people. I've heard people on other tour buses, like they took an Uber and went home. I think Sean, at the end, he told us that we walked 11 miles. He was keeping count. And I know that that's probably a little more than what we walked, because he walked a lot more. It was one of those things where it's like our group was like 50 people or whatnot. So like, say we got stopped at a light or something, like he would tell the front group what's going on, and then he'd run back and tell the back group what's going on. So he was really cool. He told us everything. Nobody was left behind on our bus, but I have heard from like Pizzow that people on his bus got left behind. It sounds like he had a really bad bus. I think he said he was on bus 4. So I'm sorry if you guys had a bad experience on that. I had an awesome experience, and I would definitely do it again, especially with Sean Clark holding the helm. He was great. He was very nice, talked to everybody. We were also on the bus with Spencer from Ice Nine Kills. He was there the whole time. I don't really know his music, but I know that a lot of people do like him or like his music. He seemed pretty nice. He was a very nice guy. And Dick Warlock was on the tour with us. It was awesome. So it was cool going to like the Halloween 2 hospital and hearing stories. So yeah, it was really cool to hang out with Dick Warlock for a day. It was awesome. Oh yeah, we also got to see a very iconic
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
Yep. From Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, Garbage Day. So that was pretty fun. It's crazy too to when we're at these houses, sometimes the homeowners would be outside, or they would come out and they would be like, what are you guys doing? And, they were all very nice people. But it's crazy how many people didn't know that they were living in a famous house like that. Like the people we went to the Shocker locations, and they're like, we just found out today. And like the Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 house, the lady was like, I had no idea that there was a movie filmed here. So she like looked it up and whatnot. But it's just crazy to be like living in a house and look outside and there's a busload of people out there taking pictures of your house. I don't know how I would feel about that. On my tour, my bus and the second bus were the only buses that were going to this location where it was a Halloween 2 hospital, and right in the same like area, or in the same parking lot, basically, was the Smith Groves from Rob Zombie's Halloween. So that was pretty cool. And we didn't have permission to be there, but it's a public place. So like we weren't hurting anything, but the cops were already there because they had their own. They weren't security. They were legit cops, but they were the locational cops. So they were there. They saw us all, and they thought we were actually protesters protesting something that's going on over there. I'm not going to get political or whatnot, but there was a protest going on with the police and stuff like that. So they came over and thought we were protesting, and then they talked to Sean Clark. And, they're okay, these guys we're technically not breaking the law. So he said that you guys do have to leave, but on our way out, he can't stop us from taking pictures. So we were able to do everything we want. I know people were saying, oh, Sean almost got everybody arrested. People almost got, no, it was nothing like that. It was a great time. Nobody was in fear. Or in danger, I mean. Nobody was going to go to jail or anything like that. It was a great time. So the tour was like an 8-hour tour. After the tour, a lot of people were going to Hollywood, or is it Hollywood Horror Nights? Yeah, Hollywood Horror Nights over at Universal Studios. And other people had plans to go see Halloween movie because they're showing the movie at the theater at like, there's one at like 8 and then 10. But man, I was so tired. I just wanted to go back to the hotel room, get something to eat, something to drink. And I passed out at like 8 o'clock at night. And from the next day, I heard from a lot of other people, a lot of people had tickets to this and that. They didn't go either. They were just so tired. But it was very fun. And I don't regret going, and I highly recommend it for any of you guys if you ever want to do the tour. Especially try to get on Sean Clark's bus. It was 50 extra bucks. It was awesome, totally worth it. The whole VIP or the whole tour itself was 150, and then if you wanted the super fan tour, which was the first 2 buses, it was $200. The first bus had Sean Clark on it, and the second bus had a YouTuber named Mika. I think World as Mika or something like that. So on our way back to the base camp on our bus, they announced that registration for VIP would be 8 a.m. the next morning. So we had to get there at 8 a.m. the next morning. There was a lot of people there. We showed up at like 8:05, and there was still a lot of people. There was a lot of VIPs. It looked like there's like 500 VIPs, but I keep hearing only 250 were sold, 150, 300, but it looked like there were a lot of VIPs. But anyways, VIPs got this cool Halloween 45 Years of Terror bag. It came with a lanyard, which is pretty cool. This is what we wore around our neck to get in. It had like the schedule and stuff on there. Cool little pin. I do not collect pins, but it's a very cool pin that I will be keeping. It is from Fright Rags, so that's a very cool piece to have. Memorabilia there. We also got this VIP card to cut a line. We could cut 2 lines the whole weekend. It was good for only Nick Castle, James Jude Courtney, Malcolm McDowell, Anthony Michael Hall, Dick Warlock, Tom Adkins, Daniel Harris, and Nancy Loomis. The conventions I go to, when you have VIP passes, you're able to cut any line you want. So I was kind of surprised that we could only cut 2 lines. But if you were there, you understand why you could only cut 2 lines, because it would get so annoying just VIPs cutting all the time, because there's a lot of VIPs there. As you can tell, I did not need to use it. It was very busy, but I played my cards right, and I was able to get where I needed to go. And then we also got this t-shirt, this Halloween 45 t-shirt, which was pretty cool. The VIPs got this for free, and they were selling it. I think they said there's like 666 altogether. So that's really cool. We also got this poster, which is pretty cool. A lot of people were getting it signed. That's pretty cool. It has that. I think I want to get Sean Clark to sign it. I did not get him to sign it at this convention just because he was so busy and I didn't want to bother him. There were moments where I saw him, taking a moment, but I just give him that moment. He was getting over being sick. It was his birthday, but I see him every year at Mad Monster, so I'm going to get him to sign this and something else I got later on. Also, while we were standing in line to get in, someone from Cody Robbins' camp, he is somebody who did some of the stunts for Halloween 2018. They were giving away his free trading card so you can get it signed. So the VIPs were let in an hour early at 10 o'clock. And so the people who wanted to get the Tom Atkins figure had to go to another line, which I had to. So I spent about, like half of that time in that line to get the figure. I was able to get the figure for a rad friend of mine. When I was in this long line, I kept seeing people buying 2 because there was a limit of 2 per person, and they're only selling 500 a day with a total of 1,000. So, man, I kept seeing people walk out with 2 of them. I was like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to get one. But I was able to get one. It was an awesome figure. So after that, I went over to Trick or Treat Studios to see if they had a certain mask I was looking for. They did not have the mask, and there was a long line. I was like, what is this line for? I guess it was for some kind of figure, another kind of figure, some kind of like variant figure. I'm not quite sure what it was. So anyways, I thought I'd just ask. So I went over to the guy and I was like, hey, do you have a certain mask that's supposed to come out soon? And he's like, oh, we actually do. We haven't put it out yet. So he gave me that mask. And the first person I went over to go see with this mask was Corey Cunningham himself, Rowan Campbell. And he was a very nice guy. Awesome. He said this was the first mask he's seen. And he was very impressed with it. He's like, wow, that's a really cool mask. I've never seen this before. But, these just came out from Trick or Treat Studios. They weren't even on the shelf yet. And this was his first convention. And he probably signed maybe 50 autographs before he got to me. Because when I first ran into him, he hardly had anybody in line. Granted, this was the first day in the preview, the first hour. So everybody's off trying to get their exclusives. Mondo had a huge line. There's huge lines everywhere for these exclusives, so he didn't have that. But I'm glad I got him when I did, because after his line was so long and there was no skip line for him, and he was busy all weekend. Sean Clark mentioned on the tour that he was the number 1 requested person for this, besides John Carpenter, of course. But for somebody who gets a lot of hate for Halloween Ends and people who don't like this, he sure had a very long line and a lot of fans. I really think there are a lot of closet Halloween Ends fans out there, and it's gonna just keep growing over years. I think it's gonna become like this hit like Halloween 3. So yeah, I am a big fan of Halloween Ends. I know a lot of people aren't, so I highly recommend meeting him if you do get a chance to. And then after meeting Corey or Rowan, I keep calling him Corey Cunningham. I went to Fright Rags, where they had these shirts. I wanted to get this. It was exclusive to the con. I think it's going to be available to everybody at the middle of October or whatnot. But yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. A play on Goosebumps. It's really cool. And they had these cool cups that I got. They had like the first Halloween, which I thought was really cool. And then they had another Halloween from the first one. It's really cool. And then I got 2 of these because Halloween 4 is my favorite Halloween movie. They had Halloween 4. And plus you needed to spend like $50 in order to get this cool free Halloween 45 cup. So yeah, I got 2 of these so I can use them. I don't know if I'll use the other ones or not. Came in this cool bag. So yeah, as soon as I got in there, spending money like crazy, but surprisingly not that much. And then once the doors opened at 11 o'clock, it was super overwhelming. There were people everywhere. The lines were insane, and I was just like, I don't know what to do next. So we went around. We had to go get the photo op. So I bought photo ops for Danielle Harris. I did the costume one with her. She was really cool. Then I stopped by Anthony Michael Hall. He didn't have anything but Halloween out, so I don't know if he thought nobody wanted this, but I happened to see on his handler had one of these chilling right there. So I got one of those signed by him. I told him how much I hated him when I was a kid because of the way he treated Edward Scissorhands. He thought that was funny. Then I went and met Dee Wallace, America's favorite mother. This is my first time meeting her. I've seen her at cons before, and I don't know why I haven't met her before, but she was excellent. And then we were walking around, did the photo op, and then they announced that this was later on. Again, a lot of our times were spent in lines the first day. They announced that Malcolm McDowell would be going home and he wouldn't be coming back. So like he was leaving. He was only there for a day. I did not know that. I don't know if I missed the announcement or somewhere. So I did go and meet him. He was very nice. But I think he was nice because I started watching a show that he's in called Son of a Critch. And I was telling him how I like that show. It's a show it's a Canadian show and it just came over to America. So they're on the third season. The first season just started over here. It's a comedy. And I told him how much I liked it. He's, oh yeah, we just finished season 3 and then season 2 is going to be starting soon, this and that. So he really got a kick out of that. And I think that's why he was talking to us, because we saw him before talking to people. He was just like, not caring. You can tell he's at the age where he does what he wants, but he was very cool, very nice. And then I went over and I met the man himself, Christopher Nelson. He was awesome. He had so many different cool 8x10s, and I asked him which one was his favorite. And he said this one was his favorite, so I got that signed. And then it's cool, too, because I don't know if he does this at all events or not, but I told him I was a big fan of the thing with 2 heads, and he gave me this for free. He signed it, and again, I want to get on this side signed by Sean Clark when I see him at another convention, which I'm sure I'll be seeing him sometime soon. Then I got my main piece signed, which was from a bunch of people from the first Halloween. I had my Halloween movie poster signed by Nancy Loomis, John Michael Graham, PJ Sauls, Gwen Van Dam, Jennifer Rhodes, Will Sadden, Sandy Johnson, that was on there, Brent LePage, and Mickey Yabalis. And then, of course, Nick Castle himself, The Shape. That was already on there from a previous convention. Halloween one cast was long line, so that took up a huge chunk of time. I should say, not change, chunk of time. And so PJ Sauls was a long line, and she kind of was she's taking her time, which is very cool that people are taking their times. And then Nancy Loomis, her line was so long, and I saw an opportunity where it was kind of getting smaller, so that's when I hopped in there, but she was kind of taking a while. PJ Sauls gave me one of these. This was not my first time meeting her. I've met her before, but I did not have her on my poster, so this was a great opportunity to get her on my poster. So that's pretty much all we did for there, and then I walked out. I ran into Wet Movie 1. He asked me to be in his video, so I did that. The link will be down in the description. So Sunday, the goal is to go to Danielle Harris right away. We do get in an hour early. Again, the VIPs, I go to Danielle Harris's line. I'm the first one there. She's not even there yet. I see an opportunity to go to Tom Atkins before he gets really long to get the Dr. Chalice figure signed. I go to his line. It's not the longest, but it's still long, and I didn't want to skip line because I thought it was weird to skip line for VIPs, but people were doing it, and line was going back and back, and he was taking his time with the people who was meeting, which is really cool. I approve that message. So I'm glad that he was taking his time, but he took a long time. I was in his line for, 45 minutes. Then once I got that done with that, I went over to Danielle Harris, and she was just now getting there. So I think she had a couple of people ahead of me. So I met her. I got my Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead one sheet signed by her. She was telling me that she's actually going to be in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, the remake. She said her and Keith Coogan are going to be in that cameos. She said that she actually is doing the role that was written for Christina Applegate, but Christina Applegate can't do it right now. And then I pulled this out for her to sign. And she loved this. She's never seen it before, but she really liked it. She took a picture of it. It's 19 out of 75. I got this at a convention, Mad Monster convention out here. But this is really cool. I had her sign that. Cool piece. I love Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. If you watch my channel, you know I champion that movie. I try to get as many people to watch that and They Hand the Rocks a Cradle. So that's basically my channel. I'm talking about that all the time. She's very nice. I also talked to her about the Connors, because if you guys don't know, she was on Roseanne back in the 90s. And then they brought her back for the Connors. And if you know what happens to her character in the Connors, I talked to her about that, and she said that she didn't even know until she was watching what was going to happen to her. So yeah, we talked about that. And she was very nice. took a photo with her, and you guys are cordially invited to our wedding. So then I get in line for Kathleen Kimmett from Halloween 4. And I'm actually in line with Pizzow. We have a good conversation. This was actually, I met Pizzow at the Halloween Hedge on Friday during the tour. So it was really cool meeting him. He's an awesome guy, very chill. He's freaking tall, I'll tell you what. But yeah, he was awesome. We were in line. And once it got to me, the guy cut me off and said, I'm sorry, she has to go to do her photo op, which is fine. But then they were saying that she was not coming back because after that she has a panel, and then after the panel she has to get on a plane and go film a movie. And I was like, oh, that sucks. But then she said, oh no, I'll come back, after the panel and sign a little bit. So I was like, oh, okay. So anyways, I go over to Sasha Jensen, and he leaves, and I was like, well, if he's obviously they're all going to do the photo shoot together. So I went to go get something to eat, something to drink or whatnot. Then I went to the panel, the Halloween 4 and 5 panel, and I was actually kind of shocked that Danielle Harris was not part of the panel, but I understand because she would rather sign autographs for the fans instead of doing the panel, which is pretty cool. So, and she wasn't needed. You had everybody that was there to run the panel, and that was really cool. And then they kept saying that Kathleen Kimmett had to leave. So anyways, after that panel, that was really cool. I went back into the floor, was kind of walking around, and I saw Kathleen Kimmett back at her table. So I get into her line, and it gets to me again, and her handler is like, sorry, that person is the last person, we can't take you. She has to go. And I was like, dang, twice in a row this happened to me. So I was like, all right. So I went over to Sasha. I'm standing in line. I'm looking over, and like she keeps taking people to sign. After he told me I couldn't, everyone walked away. But then random people would come up. She was signing this and that. So anyway, I was like, whatever. I don't need to meet her that bad enough. I'll meet her some other time. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Anyways, I'm standing there, and her handler comes up to me and is like, hey, I'm so sorry for kicking you out of the line. You'll be the last person, come on over. And I was like, I don't have anything for her to sign, and all of her 8x10s were gone. And she's like, oh, okay, well, what 8x10 did you want? And I was like, well, I want the her standing outside with the shirt. So I got this. We took a really cool photo. She's very, very, very nice. I was the last person she took. It says, are you coming in or what? But yeah, she was very nice. I'm glad I was able to meet her. I don't think Pizzow was able to meet her. Just of the way it was really weird. And like I said, I got kicked out of her line twice and then called back. I went over and met Sasha Jensen. It was cool. He had a really cool story about the Myers fight. When he fought Myers, he bit the blood tab too early, and he thought he messed up the scene. And it comes off really cool in the movie. But yeah, he was very cool. Took a picture with him and got that done. And then I went out to meet Don Shanks, who played Michael Myers in Halloween 5. I really wanted him to sign something from I Know What You Did Last Summer, but he didn't have anything from I Know What You Did Last Summer. He only had Halloween stuff, so I had him sign this. He was very nice. He had a hard time understanding me. I think my voice was too low for him, and he couldn't really understand what I was saying. But he was very nice, Don Shanks. You're going to like this one. Michael Myers from Halloween Resurrection, played by Brad Lohr. He was nice, very talkative with people around, but very nice to meet him. I'm glad I met him. And then I met Halloween H2O Myers, which is Chris Duran, and he was very nice. I am a huge fan of Halloween H2O. My hat. But yeah, he was very nice, very cool. I'm glad I got to meet him. And then I met probably the nicest person at the convention. I'm glad I met him. He was very, very nice, and he wasn't very expensive at all. But I got to meet Jeffrey Landon from Halloween 5, who plays Billy. Cookie Woman, Billy. Very, very nice guy. I highly recommend meeting him. If I see him at another con, I will meet him again and talk to him. He was very nice. I took a picture, and he was probably the cheapest person there. I think he was $20, which is not bad. Most people there were about $40 with picture included, so that was very nice. And then I look over, and I was gonna go meet him anyways, but Matt Walker from Halloween 5, he plays Spitz. But I happened to notice he had this jacket sitting on his on his chair, and it was a Child's Play 3 crew jacket. So I went over there, or I looked at his table, and I saw this picture, and I was like, oh my god, I never put together that Spitz and Ellis were the same person. So I met him. He told me some cool stories about Child's Play 3. He was awesome. He signed this for me, and I got to like look at his jacket, touch it, and stuff like that. He said that his mom told him to keep really good care of it, never wear it, put it on the hanger, and put it up in the closet, which he did, and it looked great. It was an awesome jacket. He was very nice. He was telling me a story that it was between. He was actually up for the role for Shelton, and they wanted both, or they liked both of them, but he obviously did not get the role, but they liked him so much that they created this role, and the other guy got the role because he was on like a show, so he was kind of hotter then. But it's really cool that they created this role, and he was able to be Shelton's right-hand man. Then after that, I went to the Halloween, or the David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy panel, which was really cool. I had a bunch of the cast, Chris Nelson was there. We heard a lot of cool stories, and you really got to feel that, man, it was like a family filming these three movies. I know people give this trilogy shit, but a lot of tender love and care went into it, whether you believe it or not. So that was really cool to hear those stories and hear how it affected them and everything like that. And then after that, they cleared us out because they were going to have the John Carpenter panel. So VIPs had to go out and get into this line. We went out, and we came back in. We were able to sit down, and the John Carpenter panel. It was John Carpenter. He just kind of walks out by himself. No one announces him. He's just kind of walks out. He's like, oh, okay. And then he sits down, and then Nick Castle comes out. Maybe 5 minutes later, I think he was finishing up at his table, and then it all of a sudden turns into a Halloween '78 panel, which was fine, which was fun. We got to hear stories from all of them. Bob was there, Nancy Loomis, PJ Sauls. That got to hear all these cool stories. John Carpenter talked about his new show coming out, and I guess he directs an episode. So you guys can look forward to that. But he was saying that they filmed it in Argentina or something like that. And he never left his house. He directed from a monitor in his house in California. So I'm very curious to see how that turns out. And I'm not a big fan of directors that do that. So yeah, I'm interested to see his episode directed from his couch, to say the least. So that was maybe about 35-minute panel. And then after that, kind of walked the floor again and then left. Oh, and I forgot to say, I did meet Matt Ryan Tobin. He is a graphic designer. He creates a lot of cool posters for a lot of these awesome movies that we love. And I got this piece. It's awesome. I'm going to put it on here. It's too big to pull out. But yeah, he was very awesome. I took a picture with him. Him and I talked about the Rad Pack. I gave him a card because I was handing out Rad Pack and Dead Pit cards. We talked about, what he has coming up. I don't know if I can say what he has coming up, but it's something I'm very excited about, so I'm not going to say what it is. I got to meet a lot of cool people at this convention. It was very, not overwhelming, but it was very humbling to have people come up to me and ask me to take a picture with them. I met a few people, like a handful of people who knew me from YouTube, and I've only been doing this for, not a couple months, but I've been doing this for less than a year, and you guys are noticing me out on the street. It's crazy. On Saturday, it rained, and I wanted to go back to the hotel to put my posters back so I didn't have to carry them around the whole time. So once it stopped raining, I took the opportunity to kind of dash to the hotel before it started raining again, and I ran past a group of people, and they someone yelled at me. They're like, "Planet Dirty!" So it was pretty cool to run into people. There were a lot of Planet Dirty and Rad Dudes fans, so I'm very happy that I'm able to do something that connects with my audience, and that I was able to meet some of you guys. It was awesome. I met Sammy. He was awesome. Shout outs to you, my friend. Also, Jason and his girlfriend. I talked to him a lot during the weekend. I kept running into him. He was very cool. He's a big fan of Halloween 4, as am I. I saw that he had a Halloween 4 poster that he was getting signed, which I was super peanut butter and jealous about. Send me pictures of that, man. I want to see what it looks like. But also meeting you. And I got to meet people like Tampa J. Like I said, Wet Movie 1, Pizzow. I also got to meet this guy named Alex. I was looking at, he had a calf tattoo of all the Halloween characters and whatnot, and I kept staring at his calf because I was behind him during the tour. So when we were going uphill and stuff, I saw him. And then I finally met him face to face, and we had a cool conversation after I met Pizzow. I guess he was a fan of Pizzow. So that was awesome, and that was it for the convention. But I had one more day of things to do. On my way home, I stopped at the Dinosaur that was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That was such a fun time. I got to go inside the Dinosaur, and it's very crazy. You take like this staircase going up there. It fits like maybe 2 people up at the very top of the mouth. It's very cool. You get to go look outside the mouth, and there's a sign that says it wants you to roar. But it was very cool. And then they have a really cool gift shop with some cool things. If you don't know this about me, but I collect magnets. And I got this. It says, Large Marge sent you. Or, I'm sorry, Large Marge sent me. And then it's from the Dinosaur in California. Cabazon, I believe. But I got this really cool thing there that I think this is awesome. They're handmade, and it's very limited edition. After Pee Wee Herman passed away, they went and painted it. And they were going to, there was a memo saying that they were going to, paint it, get it ready for, I think, either Halloween or Christmas, which they do for the holidays. They paint it, or they put jackets or whatnot on there. So you had until the beginning of October to see him dressed as Pee Wee Herman. And our goal was, if it was light, to go there on Thursday, but it was not. It was dark, and it was stormy. Windy and stuff, so we couldn't go on Thursday. So I thought, man, hopefully by the weekend it's still there. And then on Monday, on our way back home, we stopped there, had a great time. He was still dressed like Pee Wee Herman. And this is an awesome piece here that is very cool, very unique. This trip was very fun highlight. I can't get over this. It's really cool. And I was under the impression that at this Dinosaur, it was just this Dinosaur. But I didn't realize that there was a place where you can go in and see all these other big Dinosaur. There's also, I said the gift shop. And there was supposed to be 2 diners there, and I wanted to get something to eat there. But both diners were kind of boarded up and nothing there, which is kind of sad because I was hoping that, it'd be a busy place. Full disclosure, though, I planned on filming a lot when I was inside the convention. But once it got down to it, I'm just not good at doing vlogs. Like, my first reaction is not to pull out my camera and start filming when something happens. So, like, I was already in there, and there's just so much going on that I was like, oh, great. I saw somebody walk around with a camera. I was like, oh, I should probably be filming this. But I was so in the moment and doing all these random things that it was too overwhelming for me. So maybe if I am going to film, I should do something at, like, a smaller convention. So, guys, that was my weekend at Halloween 45 Years of Terror convention. I had a great time in California. It was jam-packed full of fun stuff. Made great memories, great friends. I'm so happy I got the experience that. I'm so humbled and very thankful. Like I said, I'm grateful for being able to have the opportunity to go do this. If you guys do get an opportunity to do the convention, I would definitely go if there is a 50. I know everyone's, if there's a 45, there's going to be a 50. But I have talked to Sean before at other conventions, and he is just, he says if he does 50, 50 will be his last. And honestly, these conventions, like, he's the heart and backbone of these conventions. So if he's not involved, it's just not going to be the same. If there's a 50, definitely try and go. But yeah, thank you, Sean Clark, for a great weekend. You had a lot of things planned, and it was awesome. In the comments, tell me, did you guys go to Halloween 45? Have you been to any other Halloween conventions, like Halloween 30, Halloween 25? Are you guys planning on going to Halloween 50 if there's one? Don't forget to roundhouse kick that like button. Like, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Dude Who Loves Movies, one word. Cheers, who's respecting.